It gives me great pleasure to introduce Secretary of Veterans Affairs, the Honorable Denis McDonough. Before coming to the VA, he served as a 26th White House Chief of Staff and the Principal Deputy National Security Advisor. He believes deeply, as he testified to Congress, that there's no more sacred obligation nor noble undertaking than to uphold our promises to our veterans, whether they come home decades ago or days ago. Please join me in welcoming to our 124th National Convention, the 11th Secretary of the Veterans Affairs, Denis McDonough.
Thank you guys. Good to see everybody. Thank you very much. Thank you so much, Tim, for that kind introduction and for your unwavering, and as we just discussed, highly successful leadership of VFW. Tim, I know the fight for toxic exposure benefits is deeply personal to you, and that you've traveled the country encouraging vets to apply for the toxic exposure benefits they've earned, that you've earned, and so richly deserve. We have no more important partners than you and the team here at VFW. Every single day I see the real and concrete impact of your work, of your devotion to vets, and your partnership with VA. So let me just acknowledge some of the other many great partners deserving of our gratitude. Ryan Gallucci, your fantastic executive director. Here. I just want to say that he's a nice guy and everything, but he also kind of gets in my business when, you know what I mean? So somehow that niceness wears off when we're screwing up. Pat Murray and the VFW legislative team. You know, Pat, I agree with that. You know, Pat slept on the steps of the Capitol to get the PACT Act across the finish line this time last summer. And I'll say this, every time Pat testifies in the House or the Senate, I stick around and listen. And I always learn something from Pat Murray and from that great team. And let me just say, VFW's incredible service officers, including the Service Officer of the Year, whom I just talked with in the backstage, you've been working tirelessly to support the influx of vets filing PACT Act claims. And of course, to each of you, the VFW members, it's great to see so many of you gathered here today. So good morning, everybody. This convention is an exciting time, even if it's a little bit hot. And it's an honor to be with you here in Phoenix. Now, you've had one busy year at VFW. Since we got together last year, you represented more than 500,000 vets, delivering over $11 billion in benefits. Even in Washington, that's real money. You processed more than 10,000 referrals for free accredited VA claims assistance through your new pactactinfo.org website, ensuring that vets are taken advantage of. VFW is an awesome advocate for America's veterans. So thank you for all that you've done. Since we got together last year in Kansas City, there we discussed the promise our country makes to honor our vets' service and their sacrifice. And I'm proud to say that together with VFW, we're fighting like hell for our vets. And we're delivering. Since President Biden took office, with your support, we've delivered more care and more benefits to more veterans than at any time in our nation's history. When it comes to delivering the benefits that vets have earned and deserve, we're processing veteran claims faster than ever before. In fact, we've completed 8,000 claims a day, 75 different times this year. That's a milestone we had only reached 6 times in the rest of VA history. When it comes to providing world-class health care to veterans and their families, study after study shows that we're delivering better health outcomes for veterans than the private sector, which is why 90% of vets now trust us to deliver their care. When it comes to honoring vets with the lasting resting places they deserve, we are now providing almost 94% of vets with access to burial sites within 75 miles of their homes. And we've expanded our Veterans Legacy Memorial Program, which keeps veterans' stories of service and sacrifice alive long after they're gone, to approximately 4.8 million vets. And look, all of that work, every bit of it, adds up to the one statistic that will always matter most: veteran lives saved or improved by the work that we do together. When I spoke to you last year, I said that this year would be the year of execution on some of our most important priorities. So let me give you some very quick updates on how we're doing. First, we're fighting like hell to end veteran homelessness. Last year, I told you about our ambitious goal to permanently house 38,000 homeless vets. Well, we exceeded that number. We permanently housed 40,401 vets. And we're doubling down. We're doubling down on that this year, aiming to house another 38,000 homeless vets while ensuring that they have the wraparound services and the support they need to stay housed and to address the issues that forced them into homelessness in the first instance. Second, we're fighting like hell to prevent veteran suicide. At last year's conference, I discussed the rollout of 988 Press 1, the new National Suicide Prevention Lifeline that connects vets quickly and directly to the Veteran Crisis Line. Since its launch, the hotline has received 1 million calls, texts, and messages, a huge increase from previous years. This includes over 750,000 calls and an average speed to answer of 9.37 seconds. Every second counts in a time of crisis, and this increase in contacts means that vets are getting the help when they need it most. Third, we're fighting like hell to ensure that vets get timely access to world-class health care. In just the past year, vets had over 73 million outpatient appointments at VA and 37 million outpatient appointments with community care providers across the country. Meanwhile, we've seen a massive 3,000% increase in virtual home visits since 2020. Nearly 28 million such visits in that time span. Offering care that's more convenient to vets at the VA, in the community, and via telehealth, alongside focused process and technology changes, has led to improved average wait times for new primary care appointments in nearly 60% of our facilities. We still have massive room for improvement because we have to improve timeliness and overall access to care at VA, including taking steps to improve our appointment scheduling systems. But we will remain dedicated to reducing wait times, increasing access, and earning every veteran's trust. each of your trust day by day as the demand for VA care grows. Fourth, we spent the last year fighting like hell to deliver for toxic, exposed vets. We're implementing what can be the largest expansion of veteran health care and benefits in decades, thanks to President Biden's new toxic exposure law, the PACT Act. In fact, since the PACT Act was signed last August, veterans and survivors have filed over 2 million claims, 32.7% more than the same period last year. And last year, we set a record of over 1.7 million claims completed. We're on track to smash that record this year. Moreover, vets have filed nearly 750,000 claims for toxic exposure-related benefits under the PACT Act. To date, nearly 4 million vets have received toxic exposure screenings, and VA has awarded over $1 billion in earned benefits. These are benefits you earned to vets, their families, and survivors who filed PACT Act-related claims. This new law has the potential. This new law, which VFW ensured got enacted, and would not have been enacted without VFW. This law has the potential to help us deliver care and benefits to millions of toxic exposed vets and their survivors, to bring generations of new vets into VA healthcare, and to increase the healthcare benefits of many, many more, including many of you in this great hall. That brings me to my fifth and final point. We're fighting like hell to hire at an historically unprecedented rate. None of this goodness happens, from ending veteran homelessness to delivering toxic exposure benefits. None of it happens without growing the VA professionals that provide the care and benefits that our vets have earned. So this year of execution has also been a year of hiring faster, more competitively, while retaining great staff. We're hiring at a record pace, growing VBA by 17%, and the VHA workforce by nearly 5%, the highest levels in the past 2 decades, in spite of nationwide labor and healthcare shortages, because people want to work with our nation's heroes. People want to work for you. So this has truly been a year of execution, a year of fighting like hell for vets, their families, caregivers, and survivors. But this year of execution isn't because of me, it's because of you. And it's because of the nearly 450,000 VA employees in your communities, your neighborhoods across the country, who keep vets at the heart of their care, like my friend Sabrina. Sabrina?
Good morning. I'm proud to be with you this morning. My name is Sabrina Schmella. I am an Army veteran, and I am the great-granddaughter, daughter, sister, cousin, and wife of veterans. I am currently a training coach in the Veterans Service Center at the Phoenix Regional Office, where we process veteran claims. Until last month, when my brother retired from the Marine Corps after 30 years of service, our family had someone continuously on active duty back to 1966.
Awesome.
My dad, a retired Army aviator and combat veteran of Vietnam, taught me when I became a veteran that no one can take away the title of veteran from you. I came to VA because I missed working with soldiers. I'm so grateful to serve the best people, the people I know and love, and some of them I don't know, but I still love, our country's veterans. I never forget that each and every benefit claim application that we receive represents a person, a veteran, and their family. And I am so eternally grateful to work with our VFW colleagues and other veteran service organizations because I know how deeply you care about veterans. Across the country, the PACT Act has meant a new focus on veterans exposed to environmental hazards while on active duty. It is so important to me and my colleagues that all veterans receive the care, support, and benefits which they have earned and deserve. So we're leaning forward. We're working hard. We're processing claims in record numbers, as the Secretary mentioned. In Phoenix, in the past year, we have processed over 12,000 PACT Act claims and awarded over $45 million in benefits to veterans and their families. We have increased our staffing in Phoenix by 45%, and this staffing has gone directly to better serving veterans. As the August 9th, 2023 date for PACT Act retroactive claims approaches, we continue to work these cases efficiently and accurately, granting every benefit we can under the law, being able to grant presumptive conditions, tells veterans that we trust them and we believe them. And it removes one more barrier as we review a veteran's claim. One veteran here in Phoenix comes to mind. I'll call him Jake. Jake was represented by one of our VFW service officers. He's a retired Army non-commissioned officer with 21 years of service. He had Gulf War service in Southwest Asia. And Jake has a cancer which is presumptive under the PACT Act. And it is the result of exposure to toxins during his service in uniform. A year ago, before the PACT Act, his claim would not have been granted. But because of the toxic exposure legislation, we were able to grant him 100% compensation service connection backdated to August 10th, 2022. And we must keep in mind that Jake represents thousands of veterans like him. And more importantly, Jake is getting the care he needs and that he earned. Jake has so much life left to live alongside his wife and children and grandchildren. And because of the PACT Act, he has one less thing to worry about while he embarks on the battle of his life. There are thousands of veterans out there like Jake, and it means so much to serve them as well as they serve the rest of us. Now let's hear from my colleague, Carlos.
Thank you, Sabrina. Good morning, VFW.
Good morning.
My name is Dr. Carlos Duarte. I'm the interim chief of primary care here at the Phoenix VA healthcare system. I lead a team of healthcare providers and administrative professionals to provide whole health, team-based care to over 120,000 veterans enrolled here in Phoenix. Here in Phoenix, we lead the region with the number of veterans screened for conditions related to toxic exposures covered by the PACT Act. Nearly 54,000 veterans have been screened, and as my colleague Sabrina just mentioned, nearly 12,000 claims have already been processed in the past year. Putting numbers aside, I would like to talk with you about how the PACT Act is designed to help our nation's heroes get medical services and benefits they earned and deserve. But first, let me tell you a little bit about why I come to work every day, committed and dedicated to serving our veterans. While I'm not a veteran, I have veterans in my family and close circle of friends. Over the course of my career, I've come to appreciate how every veteran is different and has a unique story to share. Whether it's a 22-year-old from Columbus, Ohio, or a 102-year-old veteran, World War II, from Charleston, South Carolina, Each one of them, at one point in their life, put their name on the proverbial dotted line to defend our country, some having made the ultimate sacrifice, while others have come back still fighting a battle every day. Some say going to war is easy. It's coming back home that is the hard part. In my profession, taking care of veterans, I know that too well. This is why the VA is here for you. We are here to help veterans transition and adapt to the civilian world, to provide support services to their family members, and to help veterans get help wherever and whenever. The VA is committed to meeting the veterans wherever they are. The VA is undergoing a once-in-a-lifetime modernization effort thanks to the PACT Act. Millions of veterans are expected to enroll due to the legislation alone, in addition to the 9.3 million veterans already enrolled and getting care across the country. I'd like to leave you with a story shared by a member of my team. We had an older veteran who lives in Surprise, Arizona, who had attempted many times to obtain service connection, something many of you are familiar with. His health conditions had declined over the years to the point where his spouse could no longer take care of him at home. Their PCP had just found out about the PACT Act and referred them to their VA social worker, who did a brief review of his chart while they were on the phone, and then proceeded to provide further education, information, and an assessment, which led to the spouse scheduling an appointment to file a PACT Act claim. The positive claim decision came quickly, allowing the veteran to enroll in a long-term care facility under a VA contract instead of paying out of pocket, a cost that the couple could not afford. This is one of countless stories I can share with you today. Stories of the PACT Act helping veterans and their families deal not only with toxic exposure, but all of the health challenges that life has thrown their way. Thank you all for letting me share my story and the story of the incredible healthcare team here in Phoenix. And now I'll introduce you all to Shondine Tracy.
Thanks, Dr. Duarte. Yat-e. Shik-e do shidene. Good morning. My name is Shondine Tracy. I am the Facility Rural Health Coordinator at the Phoenix VA Healthcare System. I am Dene, Navajo, born and raised in Ganado, Arizona, located on the Navajo Nation. I belong to 4 clans. Sanjikin and Nishle, Tkabahan, Bashishin, Hunaatni, Edashiche, Deshchitni, Edashinale. I am of the Honeycomb Rock People, Cliff Dwellers People clan, born for the Water's Edge clan. My maternal grandparents are One Walks Around clan. My paternal grandparents are the start of the Red Streak People clan. As the daughter of a U.S. Marine Corps veteran, my father never spoke of his military service due to the negative treatment and anti-war movement he experienced. It was not until recently that he showed interest in taking advantage of his VA benefits. My sister and I did not hesitate. Through all his trials and tribulations, I'm proud to be his daughter. I'm proud he chooses VA. I'm proud of his service to our country. And I'm proud that he, too, has signed up to receive PACT Act benefits that he earned. I have personally witnessed the immense impact of the PACT Act on rural and American Indian veteran communities across 4 counties and 9 American Indian nations in Arizona. Native Americans have a long history of proud service in the U.S. military. To date, more than 3.6 million veterans of American Indian and Alaska Native heritage have served honorably in the U.S. military, serving at far higher rates than any other group. In spite of their many contributions, Native American veterans are among the least likely to use their earned benefits. Challenges and barriers include a lack of transportation across long distances to VA facilities, lack of availability of culturally appropriate care, difficulty navigating the VA system, and a history of complex federal, state, and tribal relationships. Many of the veterans I speak to have never accessed the benefits they're entitled to. They haven't trusted VA, or they have had bad experiences with VA in the past. In my heart, it is my calling to help fix these problems. The PACT Act has brought historic opportunities for VA to reach out to rural and tribal veterans around the country on their turf in an area familiar to them. The PACT Act is allowing us to show up for women and underrepresented veterans in a comfortable environment focused on their unique needs. And it's allowing us to focus on veterans holistically, a one-stop shop not solely on toxic exposure, but also addressing mental health, suicide prevention, homelessness, and a myriad of health issues affecting these communities. It's showing veterans a new face of VA, many for the first time, that we are there for them as people first, that we truly want to be there and help in any way that we can. So no matter where in the country you call home, in communities large and small, and no matter your background, I urge you to reach out to your local VA team, find an outreach event, and sign up for the benefits and care that you have earned. It's an honor to give back to the men and women who have suffered and sacrificed for our safety, and to serve them every bit as well as they have served all of us. Now I'll hand the microphone back to Secretary McDonough. Thank you.
Sean Dean, Carlos, Sabrina, thank you so much. Now you see why I'm so excited to be part of this VA team. These three great leaders represent the very best workforce in the federal government, the most passionate, highest performing public servants in the country, folks who want to make a real difference in the lives of veterans. I'm blessed to call them my colleagues. And you heard each of them share their same deep devotion to serving vets, the same deep devotion that characterizes each of VA's employees. The reason I come here every year is to hold myself and all of VA accountable to you. We work for you. So if you hear we're not living up to the highest ideals, exemplified by Sabrina, Carlos, and Sean Dean, I want you to let me know. Ryan, your executive director, sure will let me know. Because vets, each and every one of you, have earned and deserve exactly what these three great professionals just talked about, which is our very best. And we will never settle for anything less. With that, let me just close today's remarks with one final request. I was just talking to Tim about it. To all vets, family members, caregivers, survivors in the audience, please apply for your toxic exposure benefits right now. Right now, at the claims table that is right here. Applying on or before August 9th this year means that benefits will be backdated to August 10th of last year, the day President Biden signed the bill into law. We're only a couple weeks from that deadline, so don't wait. Apply today. Reapply if you've been denied before for the VA care and benefits you've earned. Now, you can still apply after August 9th, 2023. And we hope you do if you have not yet applied. But if you do apply on or before the 9th, you will get an effective date of August 10th last year. Now, listen, there are going to be people out there who try to convince vets that they need to pay somebody to help them apply for their benefits. That's just not true. Do not pay anyone to file your initial claim with VA. Working with VA or with a VSO, like the incredible team here at VFW, it's free and it's easy to apply. So please stop by the claims clinic at this conference to meet with VA claim representatives who will file a PACT Act claim and answer any questions that you may have. And between now and August 9th, please reach out to every vet you know. Reach out to your old Vietnam battle buddies with hypertension. Anyone who may have been exposed to Agent Orange. Reach out to every trooper you know who fought in Central Command. Members of the 1st Division in Saudi Arabia in August 1990. Can I get an all the way from any 82nd Airborne paratroopers in the audience? That same division, that would be the last combat boots on the ground in Afghanistan over 30 years later. Reach out to each and every one of them, or any of the brave men and women who have served in battle in the years in between Operation Desert Storm and the summer of 2021. Reach out to your brothers, your sisters, moms, dads, neighbors, sons, daughters. Have every vet you know get a toxic exposure screening and file a toxic exposure claim. We need every single person in this room to help communicate with veterans and families to get the care that they need and the benefits they deserve. We just can't rest until they do. And with your help, we're going to keep our sacred promise to those who served and sacrificed, to serve all of you veterans as well as you have served us. So God bless you all. God bless our nation's service members, our veterans, their families, their caregivers, and their survivors. Thank you very much.